Welcome, Merv, to the Winmau Practice Centre. We're here today with Mervyn King to talk about what he uses for practice and how he approaches the game. So let's start off. How was the end of last season for you then, Merv, in the darts?
Not bad. The year finished quite well. Sort of October was pretty good. Had a nice run in the Grand Prix to the final. Form-wise I'd been working hard, so the end of the year was showing the true form, or starting to.
So when you say working hard, how many hours a day have you been putting in building up to that tournament?
I wouldn't say I upped the hours. I upped the intensity, the concentration, more when I practice than just sort of throwing them at the board willy-nilly. More sort of warmed up for a certain length of time and then got into the concentration mode of practice.
So as if you were in the tournament?
Yeah.
Okay. And that helps keep you focused going into the tournament then, does it?
Well, you're going to be focused in the tournament, so you want to try and sort of do that while you're practicing as well, and then that helps when you're playing in the tournament. And
then moving on, World Championships, you had a hell of a draw against Dean. Super game of darts for the fans to watch, but how was it for you?
The trouble is with the Worlds, I'd prepared for the Worlds and I peaked too early. The week before the Worlds I was playing phenomenal darts in practice, and it'd gone over the peak and was heading down when we started the Worlds. I timed it wrong, got it wrong. If I'd have been playing the Worlds a week beforehand, I think you'd have had a different winner, to be honest with you.
Well, that's good to know.
Well, you know, it's still there, and I haven't played darts that well for a lot of years.
So how do you manage these peaks? How do you get yourself into a peak before a major tournament or a weekend? How can that help the dart player in the street, or?
It can help anybody. I mean, if you're a pub player, Super League player, county player, professional player, you still have to prepare for your match if you want to bring out the best you've got inside yourself. To play just for fun, then you know it is what it is. You play for fun, but if you want to bring out the best you've got, then you have to prepare properly. And
so, on that, going forward for 2013, what are you hoping to achieve this year?
Peaking at the right time, hopefully. Like major tournaments.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I mean, there aren't goals as such. You know, I'm not going to say, I want to win the Worlds, because yes, we all want to win the Worlds. I'm not going to say I want to win the World Match Play, because anyone that's in it wants to win the World Match Play. We already know that. I suppose my goals as such are, I want to play properly. I want to get up there and I want to feel comfortable, and I want to throw good, precise, consecutive, consistent darts.
So as long as you do that, the results really are secondary to a
that
degree.
Way, I'm happy with what I'm throwing. The people in the audience are happy with what they're paid to watch, and the people at home are going to be interested and also entertained.
Brilliant. Okay, so we've spoken about some of the preparation you do before events. You do have a unique approach as you enter a tournament. You are one of the early at first there. Talk us through what you do just before you arrive at the Pro Tour on the Saturday. Talk us through how you just start to warm up and the routines you use.
Well, I wouldn't say there's a routine as such. It all depends how I feel. I probably kick off with 20 minutes, half an hour on trebles or 20s, just until my arm feels loose and right. I'm not too bothered about where the darts land. It's more about how my arm feels and my throw and my delivery of the dart. It's
on that delivery,
placement.
Yeah, on the delivery of the dart, it's very interesting with you, because you place a big emphasis on the angle of the dart in the board, and I've heard you say to me many times, that's how I like it, and that's not. Talk us through that angle. If you could show us an example of.
Well, I mean, the ideal angle for me is that sort of angle where the flight is cocked up in the air. Then it makes it easier to get underneath the dart. It's just into the dart, and it follows it straight down, in there, straight into the treble. The ideal dart for me is obviously just below that top wire, and then believe it or not, it actually makes the treble bigger.
Right, so that's a technical advantage for you. And
I mean, if that goes in flat there, and my darts come in high and down, that is going to knock the dart down further into the 20. It's going to be harder to hit the treble 20.
And this angle, when you get this angle right, how is it feeling to you? Because I know you talk about placing the dart on the board. Is that...
I'm more of a pitcher of a dart, well they call it pitcher.
So, and this pitch then is what delivers the angle?
Yes, yes right. It is. And the weight is dependent on where the dart goes. The same angle, if you throw it a little bit hard, it's going to go high. If you don't put quite enough there, it's going to go low. If you get it just right, then you've got full house.
Brilliant, okay. So the other thing you do in your... You don't specifically use any practice games, but what you do is use tournament feedback if you've played badly on a certain number. Talk us through what you do there.
I mean, as an example, if I wanted 161 shot out throughout the tournament now, that's the sort of number you come up quite on a regular basis. And I'd hit the 60 with the first dart and I'd miss the 51 on a regular basis throughout the day, maybe 10 or 12 times, then that 51 needs looking at. And I'll pound that treble 17 in practice until I can go up there and put it in one dart or fill it up with all three, and then I'll try the 161. And then I'll normally miss a 60. Yeah. So you're always in a feedback loop of how you've played the tournament dictates what you do to practice. Yeah, I mean, there are no set regimes or practice games I use. It's mainly what I'm struggling on. You know, if there's no point in me going up there hitting 180 after 180 after 180, all of a sudden I can hit a treble 20. So there's no point in going there. I need to practice on what I struggle on, i.e. tops, 51, 54, whatever I'm finding it hard at the time to hit, until it becomes comfortable. But you've also got to keep your practice on the stuff you're hitting well. But you incorporate everything.